Hey, it's Ron again. I hope that you're having a great day. In chapter 14, John continues to talk about various things that will happen during the tribulation. In chapter 14, verse 1, it says this: Then I looked, and behold, on Mount Zion stood the Lamb, and with him 144,000 who had his name and his father's name written on their foreheads. So John sees this vision of the Lamb, which is Jesus, standing on Mount Zion. Now, Mount Zion can sometimes refer to a little part of Jerusalem or the whole city itself. And so here he sees Jesus standing in Jerusalem, and it says with 144,000. Now, Jesus is going to, when he comes back at the end of the tribulation, he will come back to Jerusalem. So that's what it's talking about. When Jesus returns at the end of the tribulation, he'll meet these 144,000, and these are the same ones that we saw in chapter 7. Where they were sealed on their foreheads by God. They're 144,000 Jewish Christians. So in the chapter 7, they were sealed on their foreheads, and that seal was to protect them through the tribulation. So here we see they've made it through the tribulation, and now they're with Jesus at the end. And then it says in verse 2, And I heard a voice from heaven, like the roar of many waters, and like the sound of loud thunder. The voice I heard was like the sound of harpists playing on their harps, and they were singing a new song before the throne, and before the four living creatures, and before the elders. No one could learn that song except the 144,000 who had been redeemed from the earth. So then John hears this singing from heaven, and he stresses here that it sounded like the roar of many waters and like loud thunder. So here's this loud singing coming from heaven. And it also says here that no one could learn that song except the 144,000 who were redeemed from the earth. And exactly what this means, that no one else could learn this song, I've read the commentaries and stuff, and nobody really had a good explanation for that, so we just don't know. Then it goes on in verse 4 and says, It is these who have not defiled themselves with women, for they are virgins. It is these who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These have been redeemed from mankind as first fruits for God and the Lamb. And in their mouth no lie was found, for they are blameless. So in these verses, John stresses two things about these 144,000 Jewish believers. He says that they are blameless, and he says that they follow the Lamb wherever he goes. So he's just emphasizing there that they're godly people, they obey Jesus. And the two areas that he signals out here are, the first one is that they have not defiled themselves with women. So that shows these are male Jewish believers. And the reason that he stresses that they will not be involved in sexual immorality is probably because that will be prominent in the tribulation. And with all the satanic worship going on, that would not be surprising, because back in the day when this was written, in the temples and cults back then, a lot of the temples had prostitutes in them, and that was part of the worship. So these Jewish believers have stayed away from that. It also says that no lie was found in their mouths. And this is probably just referring to the fact that Satan is going to promote the big lie that he's God throughout the second half of the tribulation especially. And so they're not going to give in to that, even with the threat of all kinds of things, bad things happening. They're not going to give in to that lie. They're not going to have anything to do with it. They are going to stay faithful to Jesus throughout this whole time. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.